So everybody telling you use MCP, but as a business owner, do you really understand what this means? So if you go by theory, MCP is Model Context Protocol, right? So it sounds sexy, but what that means in reality, when you start doing your business task or personal task, MCP is something that's called like a Universal API, right? And it helps you to avoid setting up API calls or just make it easier with just simple authorization. I'm sure you tried it. Now, how you can benefit from this is, for the first time, you can connect your LLMs such as ChatGPT, Claude, with your apps and then do some certain actions from there, right? What's most important thing here to mention is basically can talk to your data, right? If you work in Notion or you work in Sheet, Airtable, depends on your workflow, right? Or you run the newsletter, you can connect those MCP connections and do some tasks by asking Claude to improve the campaign, to fix the table, to create a new table, right? There's many, many different options, right? So also other benefits that you can also connect that as a part of the automations using N8N, Relay app, which I'm going to show you later. And there's a new agent kit from ChatGPT, which is basically just a fancy canvas where you can connect all of those tools using MCP server. If you ask me, I'm still not impressed what I saw from the ChatGPT agent kit, but this should give you the direction how to think and what's going to happen in next few years, right? So you should be more aware of it. Now, here are a few examples. I'm going to show you how you can use MCP in your business and some few examples of productivity tasks for your private life. So in this case, I'm going to show you Claude MCP server and what you can do with them. So first of all, you should go on connectors and then try to connect few MCPs. It's a really easy process. For example, for Zapier, you can go on the Zapier official MCP website. You're going to get the URL, right? Then you should add application you want to connect using Zapier MCP. Then you should add all the tools under that app, and then you just simply copy and paste here, add custom connector and paste that URL from Zapier. It's the same thing with other applications as well. So for example, you can see I have Lucia MCP, MailerLite, and Relay MCP. I also connect Notion, and I also used to connect other tools. Now, when we come to the basic information about MCP, right? What I suggest from you is to try to always toggle one of these MCPs. So in this case, all of my MCPs are toggle on. But for example, if I want to just use Notion MCP, I'm going to toggle off all of these, right? And so the cloud can focus only on one MCP. Sometimes can call out different MCP tool for some reason, and can be confusing. Now, to understand the MCP API, you should understand, when you read all of these actions inside of this MCP server, you should get idea as a business owner what you can do really with this MCP, right? Because if you can look closely, you can get page comments, I don't know, list available custom agents, duplicate Notion page, update page. There's many actions you can do directly from the cloud without going inside of the Notion. And it's the same process for other MCP. You should first read all of the actions to understand what you can achieve with that. So your next step is to understand how you can really create some of the projects that you can use inside of the cloud. So you don't need to type every time, run this MCP tool to do this thing. So you should create a project that can define specific task you want to achieve, right? And every time when you run the project, as you can see here, let's start, it already gonna know what he's gonna do. So in this case, I create project that's gonna scrape my LinkedIn comments, right, from my posts, and then it's gonna analyze my offer, score each prospect from 1 to 10, and then prioritize the qualified leads, and then from there it's gonna create personalized DMs, right? So I'm going to show you in this example, and I'm going to come back to the Claude project instructions, but this should give you an idea, how you can run your MCP. Basically, you should create defined project for specific task. So in this case, I use API MCP, right? And I just paste the LinkedIn post, and then it's gonna scrape all the comments, right? And then he told me that he analyzed 72 prospects who engage with my content. And then from there, it qualified them like top 5. As you can see, I have one person which scored 10, second person which scored 9, right? And for each person, you know, because they are top priority, I get personalized DMs that basically refer their comment. Basically, it code what they said inside of my post, which can be a great opener to start conversation with your future prospects, right? Because they already engage with your content, and those type of the people are warm leads when it comes to generating new leads for your business, right? So this should give you the perspective how you can think when you're using the Claude MCP, because otherwise you should always do this, right? Then you need to mention the MCP tool you want to run, then you need to create a prompt for those tasks. In this case, you can just simply create, right, instructions, as you can see here, what this MCP will use, right? Then, as you can see, it's gonna also run API scrapers, which I name it, right? Exactly their names inside of it. And then gonna do some certain tasks. And I also get some knowledge base, you know, so Claude by itself can go and analyze my profile to get some context about me, to be able to produce better personalized DMs that gonna help me to sell my offer, right? Which was this case. So let's move on. So now when you understand, you know, how you should read the MCP, what can actually do, right? And how to create Claude projects, you know, to predefine some tasks so you can use it more efficiently. In the next few examples, I'm going to show you how you can use it as well. You know? So in this case, of course, I tried the most simple one, check my calendar, right? And see if I have some meetings for this week. So you don't need to check it out every time. You can ask Claude directly, and then you can get some answer here. Then the second example was, you know, this is that problem, because I don't have defined Claude MCP, Claude project for specific MCP tool. I every time need to tell Claude when I'm starting a conversation, run this Notion MCP, then find this specific page, then do a specific task. So I can create this into the project, right? So I don't need to every time type the same thing. I just type let's start, and he already knew what he needs to do it, right? But just for the sake of this example, I just wanted to show you the power of this, right? So as you can see, he finds some of that Notion page, where I tracking the subscription. So I ask me, can you just give me a suggestion where I can reduce some cost? In other words, is there any other tool that I can replace it under the toolkit I already have, right? So he do some task. Now, the problem was here that sometimes it took him too long to fetch all the information, stuff like that, right? That's bottleneck of the MCP. But the real power is that you can use Claude knowledge and brain and power to talk to your data and do some specific actions that can give you a really great benefit to save money, save time, you know, and improve the business wealth in general, right? So in this case, he gave me the old subscription costs I have monthly, right? And then he gave me suggestions, you know, cost saving recommendations, I don't know, because I also used Anthropic Claude and ChatGPT. He just told me choose one primary AI system, but sometimes I use the ChatGPT for other things. But in this particular case, Claude thinks smartly, because I can replace ChatGPT with Claude or ChatGPT or Claude with ChatGPT. Now also a scheduling tool. So the thing here, additional organization. So here he gave me the suggestion how I can reduce the cost, and basically to focus maybe on a few tools that can replace the other tools I already using. So the next example was, you know, to create Airtable that will to create Airtable MCP station directly from the Claude. And I give some prompt and some context what I want to achieve, and then from there, you know, I get the table which looks like just second this. So I wanted to have a name, position, LinkedIn profile URL, opening message, follow-ups. So this table was related to my first project. You know, if I come back to the Claude, the first example I show you, just a minute, second. No, okay, I cannot find right now. But once I scrape informations about prospects, qualify them using that project, I can move all those leads into the one CRM which I created using the cloud. That can store the name, LinkedIn profile, opening messages, follow-ups, and so on and so forth. So this is one of the good examples how you can create directly table from basically Claude. As you can see, he runs and do a lot of stuff here. So let me close this and move to another MCP. Now, this is the MCP server created on the Relay app. So what this means, I create a server that's connected with the Claude and add a bunch of tools inside of the Relay app so I can run it from the Claude. Right. So what I like about Relay, they have a really great native integration when it comes to the LinkedIn, right? So I don't need to use, in this case, API. I can use the LinkedIn native integration from Relay app. So you see I have also add my newsletter, I add Slack, I can scrape content from the website and do a lot of tasks when it comes to the LinkedIn, right? So first thing what I try is, again, I type run Relay MCP tool, but I should create Claude project. You already get that idea. And find me the last 3 behind newsletter editions, the open rate, click rate, give me some suggestions for better subject line additions, and keep it fast. So I tell him keep it fast just to see if it's gonna do it quicker and really do quicker. Now, the problem was here that this tool, as you can see, can only do a few stuff, which means if I just type add here to add tool and can add behind, as you can see, it has only find post, find subscription, really to analyze my open rate and stuff like that. But in this case, he just gave me some suggestions for the subject lines because this tool was able to see subject lines inside of the Beehive newsletter and suggest me the new one. Because of the limit of that MCP tool or inside of the Relay app, it couldn't find the open rate statistic and click rate. Now, another example, what I try to do it is basically I try to run tool inside of the Relay MCP server, get LinkedIn posts, and then I give him, here's my profile, understand, what's my positioning, and your task is to analyze my profile and positioning and give me some suggestion, what type of the content angles will be better to promote my offer without selling directly in my post. And again, I add keep it run the fast, and I don't need to wait too long, right? So just come back to the Relay. This is that tool, get LinkedIn person posts, and he's gonna also use this tool, search LinkedIn profile to understand context about me. And if we come back to this, I was really surprised when I get this answer. So he first captured the context about me, what I'm doing, right? Gives me great suggestions what I should focus more to be able to speak through my offer, which is related to my LinkedIn profile, and which will help you eventually to get better reach, because right now LinkedIn reach is reduced, and you should follow, if you put something on your profile, you should talk more about that, right? And that's LinkedIn gonna treat you as expert-led, because your profile telling to your audience that you are expert in this specific field, right? And you should move more, right? So, as you can see, he suggests me behind the scenes framework breakdowns, which I talk about my go-to-market strategy, right? Then client transformation case study, which should be really good content before and after, mistakes to lesson post, right? How I launched my agency, how I quit my 9 to 5 and start doing my business, and so on and so forth. So this can be really great content coach directly connected from your Claude to help you to create better content, right? This is a final example I want to show you where I created the N8N GitHub project where I can create workflows inside of N8N. Now, just to be clear here, they are not 100% efficient, but can give you the 80% done job. Then you should tweak it, connect some applications and APIs, and then you're going to have a few stuff that are connected. So in this case, I try to close this. It was Apollo lead generated form. So I try to run inside of the Claude to give me some workflow is going to be created inside of the N8N that is ready to generate Apollo URL and then scrape lead using the API, So this is the finished automation, but in this case, I get some troubleshooting with this HTTP request where I need to connect the API. This one was good from the Claude. Then I also need to add limit and loop so I can test on smaller amount of the people so I can see if the workflow is working and so on and so forth. And then I finally add API call for the extrovert, which is the commenting tool, and also to add API to the HeyReach so I can push those leads into the HeyReach campaign. And that's it. So when you recap all these situations and see all of the examples I showed you previously, you'll understand that MCP is allowing you to talk to your data inside of your applications, and then from that moment you will understand what you can achieve with this new technology, and you should start from there, because you don't need to run and explore and stuff like that. You can connect on the smartest model on the roll, such as ChatGPT or Claude, right? And then do some specific actions that will help you to summarize and improve your business overall. My final tip is always to never forget to read first what your MCP tool can do. An additional tip, as I've show you previously, always toggle one tool that you wanted to call in that specific action, so the LLM is not going to be confused and call other MCP tools. I hope this was helpful. Follow me for more.